Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
Joining us today is University of Illinois all-time great, fifth in school history and field goal percentage, two-time honorable mention all Big Ten selection, CBA Rookie of the Year, more impressive, won the G League Jason Collier Sportsmanship Award, known to be a vital part of all his teams, really known as the glue guy, and some would even say the unsung hero. So I'm just gonna put it out there, not just the University of Illinois legend, but the state of Illinois legend. None other than Roger Powell. Roger, thank you for joining the Hoop Dreams podcast. I'm Will Gates.
I'm Arthur A.G.
Man, thanks for having me, man. This is cool, man. I grew up watching y'all, man. You know, Hoop Dreams, for me, I probably watched that 1,000 times. So anytime I can just chop it up with both of y'all together, it's pretty amazing, man. So thanks for having me.
Hey, so speaking of Hoop Dreams, tell us about the first time you ever seen it and who you was with.
Man, you know what? I was kind of young, not to say y'all old or anything, but I was young. So I don't know if I remember the first time, but it was such a cool documentary for us, man. Like young kids growing up, you know, having hoop dreams and then watching y'all's story, man. You know, it's just like, it was a classic, you know. So for us, it was just, man, that's Chicago basketball. That's Chicago suburbs basketball. That's the state of Illinois. That meant everything to a young kid that was dreaming of, you know, getting a college, you know, scholarship and playing high level basketball. Man, it was so cool. So I couldn't tell you the first time because I watched it so many times, you know.
Right.
It was a VCR, man. So, you know, it was back in the day, man.
Right. So you can say it kind of impacted you going forward and you playing the game.
What, man? Without a doubt. Are you kidding me? I mean, yes. I mean, for me, it meant a lot, you know, and gosh, I mean, even now, you know, going back and recruiting guys from some of those schools, you know, like going back to St. Joe's, and I mean, it was cool, man. I still get chills thinking about it, you know, just the stories, man, and see you guys, it's your lives, man. That inspires so many of us, man.
Yeah, no acting neither. It was just real characters. I mean, you know, just us, just real life, our families, you know, our friends, people who we saw on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying? And I always feel like, you know, when it comes across like that, our authenticity is the best, your originals, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. I mean, even from like when y'all was partying, man, and dancing, it just like, I had so many experiences like that. Will, when you got injured, man, it was just like, man, I felt it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, man, because we're talking about impacts right now. You know, this past year with COVID, man, has been absolutely crazy, you know, and the effects that it had on people and things that folks had to change about their life, man. First, I just want to ask you, man, how are you doing? And can you tell us about, you know, what has life been like for you during this pandemic?
To be honest, there's been some positives and some negatives. I mean, obviously, you know, last year not being able to play in a tournament, and you know, I thought our team, I coached at Gonzaga, and, you know, we were going to be a number one seed, first two games in Spokane. And that was going to be an amazing experience for our fans here and from our kids and just for me, man, you know. And when they canceled it, you know, that was tough. But with that being said, you know, once we kind of got over the shock of not playing in the tournament, I was at home. You know, I was at home, and, you know, there was no traveling, and you know, we had to kind of shut it down, but I got to really spend a lot of time with my family. So, you know, I think that was very valuable. And to be honest, I mean, it was during that time that my wife got pregnant with our fourth kid. So
the baby making music started.
Hey, listen, there was no tournament. There was, you know, no March Madness. So I'm at home. What else you gonna do? You know? So,
That's right.
Once we had our fourth child, man.
Keep it real.
Congratulations.
So, absolutely.
Thank you.
Man, growing up in Illinois, love for basketball. Man, just talk a little bit about where did that love begin and how did it start your growth in the game? Where did you find the love for the game at?
my dad, unfortunately, got COVID, and he was struggling a bit. And I actually just went to see him, and he's doing better now, but he has other things that he's dealing with, man. And I was on the plane back home because I flew in real quick to see him and had to go back because my wife got 4 kids, and I can make sure she's good. But I had a thought, man, in my heart, man, from a book I was reading, and the thought was, don't collect possessions, collect experiences. And it made me start thinking about like my dad, and just he's getting older now, and and then whenever COVID's in the mix, or there's sickness and your dad's in the hospital, you start thinking about like, man, those moments you had with him, growing up when he put the ball in your hands, he put the ball in my hands, and all the stories I heard about my dad. My dad played basketball at Joliet. He was an All-American, Illinois State, and he's from Illinois, man. Chicago suburb, Joliet, man. Like, there's legends of my dad, and I grew up hearing all these stories about him. Averaging like 33 points a game as a sophomore in high school, and I think he like broke a scoring record in the state tournament back when he was playing. So, to be honest, basketball was just in my DNA, and my dad just kind of passed it over to me, and just watching him play pickup basketball with Ricky Green and Craig Hodges, man, them dudes would be playing just for the love of the game. Tim Hardaway. I remember when I was a young boy, Tim Hardaway had me go get him some pop from a vending machine, and he let me keep the change. And I was just like, just those moments like that, man, that just comes from being a boy around the game and, around Chicago and with my dad. So, to be honest, it's just basketball, just who I am, man. I was born into it, and it's kind of carried on through into a long career of playing and coaching.
Now, you grew up in the Joliet, area, Illinois, that's just probably about an hour away from Chicago.
I can get there in about 35, 45 minutes,
Hey, man, get that big 15 off that gas pedal, man. Yeah, 15 minutes. What? Man, but tell us a little bit about the area of Joliet where you grew up at, and that, that whole area of playing basketball. Because I'm quite sure you weren't able to get to the city all the time.
Nah, man. I spent a lot of time in Chicago, but it's when you think of basketball, everyone thinks of Chicago, and it's a lot of talent in Chicago. But you got to look at, the surrounding areas. There's so much talent. Thornwood, Thornridge, Joliet, Lockport, Bloom. It's kind of like that was our conference. So we played against all these teams, and then obviously you go up there and play against Chicago Public League. Whitney Young, Westinghouse, and so to be honest, basketball is just a big. Back when I was playing, a huge surrounding of just talent. And everybody has pride in their city, in their school, in their area. And it's so it was fun, man. I remember the Morris shootout, man, when everybody would come, and Chicago teams, everyone, back then. And then that was a tournament, man. That was where you prove what you could do, in high school basketball. So but Joliet we had some pride to ourselves too, man. We weren't in the city, but we felt like we can compete in the city. I know I didn't have any fear about going to the city and playing. And there was a lot of respect that some of the city schools had for, the Joliets, the Blooms. Because, hey, man, we were good. But Joliet, man, I was talking to my dad about this the other day, man. There's a lot of great players, man, came from here, man. A lot of great players.
Drop some names for us. Give us some names.
Man, obviously myself, my dad, Terry Collins, David Evans, Ty Carterwood, and maybe even Lockport is like right next to Joliet. To be honest, I think Alondo Tucker should have went to Joliet Township, but he ended up going to Lockport. So and then you can even throw in like the Lincoln Ways, man. You got James Augustine. It was a ton of guys, man, that came from here, and it's this long basketball tradition.
Man, without a doubt. Roger, you brought up something. I remember those Morris shootouts, man. First of all, Morris, Illinois ain't close to Chicago, man. That's a nice little drive for a Chicago boy.
Morris is a little further out, man. Morris is that's another 20 minutes, man.
But you're so right, man. More should I don't even know if they still do them now, but that was the place where you earned it. I mean, if you was somebody, you was there. I mean, I remember King was there, Joliet West was there, Joe's was out there, Proviso West, Proviso East. I mean, Crane was out there. I mean, that was like, round robin in one room knockout, man. So let me ask you this, man, with all of that during that time, who were the guys that you were competing against in the city that you said, you know what, this is the guy that, man, I need to get him to show that Roger Powell Jr. is serious. Who was that guy you was looking at?
I mean, no disrespect, but I didn't really feel like there was anybody I need to prove anything against. I feel like guys had to prove against me. And, I think I solidified myself early in my career that I was real. I was one of the best players, not only in the state, but in the country. But guys that I competed with, guys that I competed against, that we had mutual respect for, was the Will Bynums, the Eddie Currys, Najib Echols, Jason Straits, obviously, Dwayne Wade, back in the day, Dwayne Wade. And a lot of these dudes, which is crazy because I played with Illinois Warriors. So we knew each other from AAU. So it's just like there was the high school games is kind of like, oh man, we're gonna get you out of high school, but then we knew we was gonna play together, and we knew we were gonna play together in AAU. So we were already connected, man. Pierre Pierce. I mean, I could just go ahead and even Andre Iguodala was from Springfield, but he played with us. He would come up to Chicago.
Yes, he did.
I mean, the state was healthy with basketball, man, and it was so much fun, man, and those memories that you cherish. And just to mention, those are some of the guys.
It just tells you too, man, about the generational difference too, though, because when AJ and I was playing, man, we didn't have all that AAU. Our stuff was you played high school ball with summer league ball with your high school team. We playing at Argo, we playing at Franklin Park, or you playing at Columbus. It was like we didn't get that opportunity like you got to go meet up with different guys from different areas and combine and have a mega squad. What was that experience like, man, that a cat, was killing in Chicago, killing out in Joliet, and y'all came together as one force? What was that like?
It was cool, man. It was awesome, because we represented our state. We represented Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago. And it just, when I played for the Illinois Warriors, man, we were competing against, New York teams and LA teams. But we took our city, we took our city, our state, we took that with us. And, it was a brotherhood, and I think AAU back then, because I think it was at its purest back then. It kind of developed that, and it developed that mutual respect. Whenever you saw anyone that played with you or was from Chicago or Illinois or the suburbs, it was like there was this there was a brotherhood, and that was special, man. It was really special. Even to this day, man, a lot of us are Armand Gates, Dennis Gates. I mean, it's just I can keep naming. There's just respect, man, and even when I see him coaching now, it's just you brothers. And I think it was developed through, those Warrior days and AAU days.
Yeah, man, because I hear people always talk about, man, Chicago always has some cold AAU squads that come out. And this was like the, late 90s, early 2000s. Like, and I'm like, damn, like, who was the only ones I knew was the Illinois Hawks, Chris Head team.
Chris Head, that's my guy.
Yeah. Little crazy, but hey, he had a passion for the game that was unlike no other.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody got a nickname that you earned. What was the nickname you earned on the playground?
For my dad was a baller, so they called him Big Raj. They called me Lil Raj. But I didn't get my real nickname into college, man. That's when I got the nickname The Rev. That has stuck with me all the way through, man. I mean, even to this day, I mean, people right. That's The Rev, So I think that's the only nickname that I could say has stuck with me for a long period of time. And I love it. That's something I value, man. I value being called a Rev, man.
Now, what's the story behind the Rev? What's the story behind them giving you the nickname of the Rev?
So I was playing in Illinois, and in my junior year, I got saved, filled with the Holy Ghost, man, and I had a call to preach, and
Really?
my teammates, were like, they kind of were watching that and observing me to see, you know, what this meant. Like, man, I mean, I got saved, man. Jesus touched my heart, guys, and man, I'm a new person, whatever, you know, and they were like, okay, that's cool. We just gonna watch and see. Well, a couple weeks, a month, couple months go past, and they're like, man, like something really happened to Roger, you know, because he was just different. And that's when I think it was D Brown or D Brown or Luther Head. One of them said, man, that's the Rev, man. And it just stuck. It just stuck with me, man. It just stuck with me. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna embrace that, man, because like that was back then I wasn't gonna play professional basketball. I was gonna go into the ministry. Like I wanted to be a pastor. I started taking Bible classes and, you know, through the advice of my pastors and family, and I was good. You know, I ended up playing professional ball. You know, I made the Utah Jazz, and that kind of kept me going. Then I played some top leagues in Europe, but all along that, like I was doing sports ministries in the summer. I was doing speaking, and I was kind of using basketball as a way to, you know, inspire people and share Christ. So that to me is the best nickname anyone can give me. Even though I'm not a minister, I'm a basketball coach. I love being associated with my father, you know?
Absolutely.
At your high school, you ran off some guys, I mean, some teams that was in your league, that was in your conference. So would you say the competition was just as good as the Red West in the city or the Red South in the city? Like what was the players like, and what was y'all rivalry?
See, I would say there were certain teams, like for example, I mean, Lockport, I mean, they got a draft pick on their team, Alonzo Tucker, and they were always tough. I mean, you can stack them up against anybody. And then Lincoln Way, who you would say, man, they from the suburbs, Mokina, a bunch of rich kids with 3-car garage. You go on the court with them, they're gonna give you some problems. So I mean, those I think were the two that gave us the toughest games, and we had the toughest matchup. It was us, Lincoln Way, and us, Lincoln Way, and Lockport. I would say those are the top three in our league, and there's some pros on them teams, you know. So I mean, 3 NBA guys, you know, James Augustine, I played in NBA, and Alonzo Tucker did, and so you know, I would say that was our toughest competition. The other teams, I would say, here and there they'd be good, but we were definitely the top three. And I think now they've kind of shifted things a little bit, because now, like, I think Bloom is in that conference with Joliet and Lincoln Way, and Thornridge and Thornwood are in those conferences. Back then, it was like the Sitka West and the Sitka East. So you like Thornwood, Bloom had their section, and then Lockport, Joliet, Lincoln Way had theirs. But we kind of all had to go through each other to get to the sectional. So it's changed a little bit, but it was some good basketball, man. It was some good basketball. Now I think you look at like the public league, you know, I think there was a vaster amount of teams that were, you know, really, really good. I mean, it was altogether competitive. You didn't even have those teams that were just not that good, and you know, it was a blowout. Usually, what I remember is every game was a dog fight. Every game was extremely physical, you know, and I think that was what I remember the Chicago Public League back then. That's where I remember it to be, like, you know, your King, Westinghouse, Whitney Young, Crane. I mean, it was just like you can just name off the teams, you know, Simeon, that were just, man, they all were good.
So you was letting all these people know on the Ripper who Roger Powell was. Was you annihilating the person who was standing in front of you, guarding you? Like, because a lot of people, I want them to know about Roger Powell. Like, tell us about your game. Like, when you stepped on the floor, you was like, okay, you guard me, you finna get 30.
It was a lot of 30-point nights, you know, 30 and 15. And I mean, it was competitive. I mean, like, I don't think that there was ever a moment where Roger Powell or Joliet was coming to play, you know, Crane or Simeon or whoever, that anyone would be like, man, who was this Roger Powell kid? No, they knew.
Right.
So I mean, I think it was just, you know, just the mutual respect. And I don't know. Sometimes I would have 20, sometimes I would have 30, sometimes I would have 25 and 15, because I played that kind of in between position.
In my head, I picture you even before I saw you at Illinois. I kind of you was like reminded me of Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying? You had that you was buffed, you was cut. You know what I'm saying? You didn't care about banging bodies, getting down there,
No,
being aggressive. Like, come on, like let me let you feel this right here in your chest.
absolutely. And I love that about the public league because it was physical, and I knew it wasn't nobody backing down. And I love physicality. I mean, that's how I played in college. And, I've always played that 3-4 position. So,
Yeah.
I could bang and I can go out and get 15 rebounds and 25 points. And it was just fun, and I think people respected that because I never really, there was no fear whoever I played against. It was, you about to experience something. That was my mentality.
Wow.
So you was putting it on guys in high school, man. Your senior year, man, you ranked 3rd in the Chicagoland area. You're a top 100 prospect nationally. As a matter of fact, you should have been higher, but you came in 4th in voting for Mr. Basketball that year in Illinois.
But there was some good dudes though in there. I mean, you got Eddie Curry.
Yep.
Obviously, that dude's special. Will Bynum.
Yep.
Long time. And then was Luther here right before me? I think it might have been Luther or Pierre Pierce.
I think it was Luther.
Yeah, and then it's me and Pierce. So those some good players, man.
You was in a special class. You was in a special class, but you getting 25 and 15. That's special. That's special. but you getting all this attention, man, at a young age, and recruiting is coming. Walk us through like what that process was like, because now you're senior, man, you're up for Mr. Basketball. I'm sure you went to camps and all of those things. The recruiting process is turning up. What was that experience like for you and your family?
Oh man, it was fun, man. And when I got my first letter, like I was young, I was like, probably freshman year. I think I got offered by Illinois as a freshman. And and I was just, I was going through the process, taking visits. I committed early. I think I committed like early in my junior year to Illinois. And I always kind of wanted to, play there. I had like the Illinois Warriors, I had this respect for my state. And at that time, Lon Kruger was doing a great job there. Rob Judson was doing a great job recruiting me. I remember he would send me like letters in the mail, and I love gum, so he'd be like a piece of gum in there. They were really creative in how they were recruiting me. And I had some other schools I was heavily entertaining. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, and Purdue, Gene Cady, Arizona, Lou Dawson. I mean, they were coming hard. Notre Dame, Iowa, but I think deep down inside, I kind of wanted to play for Illinois. I wanted to play for my state, and I just, I remember the Flying Illini and just what they did, and I just wanted to do something special. I wanted to play for my state and take them to the national championship and hopefully win one. And so I made a decision early.
That takes guts staying in your home state.
Yeah, it did, but I was confident, man. I was confident I was going to represent my home state well, and obviously looking back, I mean, that's exactly what I did.
So Coach Kruger was there when you first got there, or did Bill Self come in right away?
So Coach Kruger recruited me, offered me as a freshman, and and they kept recruiting me hard, extremely hard, and then I committed my junior year. Coach Kruger leaves, I think, and goes to Atlanta Hawks. And then Bill Self comes in, and Bill Self is like, you talk about home visits. Man, he had one of the best home visits I've ever had. He came into the house, he was so confident because he wanted to continue to recruit me, man, and he did such a good job with my family, and we were like, we're going to stay committed to Illinois. So I ended up playing for him my first 2 years, and he believed in me, man. I tell a lot of people, man, he my freshman year, I didn't play much Illinois. He'd play me here and there, but then he took me on this like Big Ten All-Star trip with him, and I led the team in scoring as a freshman going to a sophomore year. And then from then on out, he started me at the 3, and just he really believed in me and really developed my game. And when he left, it was devastating, but to this day we have a really good relationship, man. I'm thankful for those years of development and getting me to the level of, being a high level college player. I think he gets a lot of credit for that.
Did you know of Bill Self before he got the job?
Not really, man. He was at Tulsa, I think, but I didn't know much about him. I just know he did a good job at Tulsa. And then I got to know him though when he took the job. And everyone that gets to spend time with him like him. He's a great guy, easy to talk to, remembers people's names. And so that's kind of, we kind of developed it and built it.
Now that's interesting that you say that, because most guys being recruited by a coach, when he get there and he wind up leaving, and he kind of like, he'd be like, damn, well, this coach was recruiting me. Oh, who they got coming in? Bill Self. I don't know nothing about that guy, man. Let me back up my recruiting. You know what I'm saying? So that speaks to Bill Self character of just being a person, like you said. Like he said, he stayed on you, recruiting you. Like, and then that just speaks to volumes to your family. It was just like, no, we're going to get this guy a chance to see what he's talking about and ever, so we're going to stay committed to you, man. That takes a lot of guts, man. I know a lot of guys would have been up because they not being coached by the guy that recruited them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, like Illinois was my school, and, obviously I've coached a lot of different places, coached at Valparaiso University and Vanderbilt and now I'm at Gonzaga, but like Illinois is in my blood. And, it means a lot to me. And to be honest, whatever coach would have come there, I probably would have stayed committed just because, my state means a lot to me. And even to this day, man, I have Illinois pajamas. I got Illinois blankets for my kids, Now, but yeah, look, yeah, I got Illinois pajamas. Stuff, come on, man. But, obviously I coach at Gonzaga and like I'm a Zag, so there's a level of, I'm a Zag and that's where my heart is, but my roots are Illinois, so there was always that love for my state, for my school, for my team, and it always will be. So Bill Self just made it even better because he was an awesome coach, and I got to play for a special guy and learn from an amazing guy.
So you at the University of Illinois, you committed to wearing that orange and blue. Talk about that first day, man, on campus. What was it like for you? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? Meeting your teammates? What was all this? What was that experience like? Walk us through that.
Oh, man, it was, you think of a young kid, and your dream is to play at high-level basketball in college. And just the level, first of all, the gear. Like that's the most important thing. As soon as you get on campus, I need that gear. I want to wear that gear. And so, you get your Illinois gear, your orange and blue, and you walk around on campus and everyone knows you're a hooper. It's cool, man. You take the long way to class,
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that brings back memories, man. And it was special. It was special. And then obviously back then it was Assembly Hall, that first game, man, with the Orange Crush. Ooh. And it was surreal, man. It was like, my goodness, like this is where I'm going to be playing, for the next 4 years. It was euphoric, You
know what I loved about Illinois? The students and they school spirit. Like they are like Duke Blue Devils, bro. That Orange Crush, how they be getting out, man, they will get on players.
Yeah, it was special, man. It was special. And with that being said, coaching, I've got to see so many different environments, and Illinois is one of the best. Now, the kennel, y'all need to come to the game out here. Look, like this is something serious. You know what I'm saying?
They call it the kennel?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. I've been a part of some crazy programs. Been in some crazy atmospheres.
Yeah, but that Illinois program, man, that was special. I remember my freshman year, we played Illinois. Now this one they had Deion Thomas. They put a nice little stumping on us. But man, just coming through that, man, that building is so historic. I'm wondering from you, man, because I remember our first game in Marquette, man, when I looked around and I was like, you know what? I can't even believe I'm here. Like it was like an out-of-body experience. It's almost hard to describe. But do you remember the first moment when Coach called your name to throw you in the game? What were you thinking?
Man, that was a little while ago. I just was thinking I'm going to get some buckets. To be honest, man, I'm gonna get buckets. I didn't play a whole lot, but so I got in there. We probably was a blowout my freshman year, and I was like, listen, I'm about to show him I need to be on the court. So I think we played against like Eastern Illinois one of those games. I may have had like 12 points, man, and I played late in the second half. But I was going to work, man, and I was young and I was immature as a basketball player, but I just thought when I get the ball, I'm going to score, and I'm going to get every rebound. And I never forget that, man. I think that was the first game I actually made some plays as a freshman, and it was cool, man. And then obviously that turned into 3 years starting and playing a lot of games, so they all kind of run together. Because I played a lot, man. I was blessed and fortunate to not have any major injuries, and but yeah, I mean, there's so many moments I remember. But I think the Final Four and playing in a championship and winning the Big Ten championships, those kind of cloud those early years of not playing a ton.
And so in your freshman year, G, you playing with who we got here? Robert Archibald, Luther Head, Brian Cook, Frankie Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole, what was your first impression of these guys? Like, you know what I'm saying? Darren Williams, D. Brown, these guys.
Man, they're my teammates, man. We gonna compete like crazy in practice. That was one thing that I think was special with our group, man. We so competitive, like in everything. We
Really?
competed against each other. Yeah, man. Practice was like the coach could just threw the ball out and say, "Y'all just go compete," and practice was gonna be good. And I think that's why we won so much. It was this. We competed and we hated to lose at anything. I mean, there was numerous times we almost got in fights because we just wanted to win. And
Wow.
but it was just it was a brotherhood, man. Like we would compete in practice, be mad at each other in practice, be ready to go to blows in practice, and afterwards we going to La Bamba to get something to eat and just hanging out playing video games together. And it was special, man. And that's what that's what you try to, as a coach now, you try to cultivate with your guys and amongst your team. And we got a great culture here at Gonzaga. We have a great tradition. And those are the things you need to win at a high level. And fortunately, I was able to play and be a part of that too. So when I coach, I have some references to bring to my players and kind of say, "Hey, man, this is what you got to do. This is what the environment needs to be like." So it was special, man. Something I'm still using to this day in my coaching.
I was thinking about this, man, particularly for AG and I, when we were playing, man, for us, the hoop dreams was when we got to college, man, this is our route to get to the NBA, to get out of our situation.
Yep.
What was it for you when you went to college? Was you thinking like, man, NBA, this is why I'm here. I'm here to do this. So I can move on to the next level to get to that goal. What was it for you?
Absolutely, man. I was, I initially coming in, it's all of our hoop dreams. Our hoop dreams is to be big time basketball player in high school, get a scholarship, and then from there playing NBA. And that was my goal. I will say it was, I wanted to win Big Ten championships. I wanted to win a national championship for my state, for Illinois. I wanted to be a part of the best team ever going in. And I didn't know that would actually happen. But that's what I was working towards. And then, when you graduate and like I didn't get drafted, so I had to make the NBA through the CBA, and then I signed a contract with the Jazz, and you're realizing that your dream, you actually achieved it. Didn't last a long time, but actually achieved it. So I mean, it's just like you look back and you're like, my goodness, man, basketball's been good to me. But then, I mean, I've been coaching for 10 years now.
Wow.
Which is crazy. I never imagined that I'll be coaching college basketball for 10 years, man. I've coached, like I said, Valpo, we were winning, we were really good, and going to the NCAA tournament. Vanderbilt, we went to the NCAA tournament our first year. Then obviously we had injuries, and unfortunately, things didn't end great there. But then now I'm at coaching at Gonzaga. We preseason number 1. We getting top recruits. We got draft picks. I coached in the national championship game this year. Just like, man, like I never imagined that all this would happen, through the game of basketball.
Wow. So all these different experiences is just happening through coaching. Like, it's just crazy.
Man, from playing to high school to college to playing professionally in Europe, Italy, Spain, Israel. Now I'm coaching. It's just like, man, I look back and I'm just like, man, God has really blessed me with the game of basketball and has opened so many doors, man. And it's been crazy. A little boy from Joliet, man, just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
never really imagined all this.
Your freshman year, you go on that tour with Coach Self. You earn that spot. You're going into your sophomore year. Expectations going into this year. Did you know you were going to start? Did he kind of give you some indication? And then, of course, at this point, man, you can did you see the building blocks of your team as you going into your sophomore year? Like, man, Coach is adding some really kind of different pieces to our ball club now. Were you able to see some of that?
I don't really quite remember, man. I just, you're so focused on, you're a college athlete. You're trying to make sure, solidify your starting spot. And, you don't really, I really wasn't thinking about the big picture. I was just thinking about making sure I did my part.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just, as I look back, you look at the big picture and you see like how everything was kind of working together. Things are coming together. Players are coming in, how we were kind of gelling. The chemistry was being developed, I think you don't really appreciate it until you're out of it. Because when you're in it, you just focus on getting through that next practice, getting through that boot camp. And that boot camp at the beginning of the year, we got to run 30 suicides. Like, I got to make this,
That's right.
That's all you're thinking about, man.
Listen, I don't think I met a person yet, man, that loved preseason conditioning, man. I just
Hey,
I don't want to get too much information, but man, I knew this was bad. But preseason conditioning, at the end of preseason conditioning, my feet were about to be so painful, and like you just running and running. They say I'm gonna run till your feet fall off, man. I ran to toenails would come off, man. I'm like, golly, man. And then you just gotta have to nurse them back, and then we gotta play games. How about that? Yeah, my feet hurt. Now you're ready to practice. Oh, really? I wasn't ready to practice before I had my toenails fall off.
Hey, that reminds me, Will, what did Coach Ping tell you after running 75 stairs? You should be what?
You ought to be thanking me. Thanking you for what? For what? Man, listen, I remember my college coach, man, Kevin O'Neal. My boy said, listen, if we don't win any games, we sure going to be the best in shape team on the court. That's for sure.
I hate those comments, man. Come on.
That's right.
Listen. I don't say that as a coach, man. Like I know how much that hurt to hear that from your coach when I was a player. So
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Come on, coach.
So y'all building this legacy, man. You got these young guys coming in. You got Darren Williams. You got D Brown now showing up. What was the relationship like with them guys when you were in school?
It was close, man. Like I said earlier, man, we were really close. We were really tight knit, and when Bill Self left, none of us transferred.
Wow.
None of us transferred, and I think that's a credit to how close we were and how much chemistry we had on the court.
Yeah,
we knew we were going to win. We knew we were going to do something special together.
Now that's unheard of. Like nobody left.
No.
Wow.
Not in our core. Nope.
Wow.
None of us.
I mean, you can't even. I mean, you've seen the transfer portal this year. You can't even get guys to stay, a full year.
Right.
It's different now. It's definitely different now. But yeah, man, we all stayed.
What was that conversation like that Coach Self had with you all when he made the decision to leave? What was that like?
I don't even remember, man. I think he maybe met with us and we understood him. He was going to Kansas, at that time. I think Kansas was like his dream job. And so we all understood, obviously we weren't excited about it, but then we were really focused on, I think Ron Gunther was the AD at the time. And we were really focused on just, okay, who's coming in? Because we want to stay. We want to do something special here. Who's coming in? And I think that's where our attention went.
So any Ricky Hazen went down?
Not really. And I can't really share all the stuff that happened, man. You got to, nowadays, you kind of have to. No, I think that Hazen was in practice when freshmen come in and we would go at them. I think that was the only Hazen we did, man. Just, teaching you what it meant to be a college athlete and compete at the highest level and win and compete in practice. I think that's something that us older players kind of, took ownership in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump into the 2004-2005 season. Coach Weber's second season. Was there a buzz that year? I mean, did you guys spend the summer and you came into the fall saying, you know what, man, we got a chance to do something special here. Did y'all know that?
Well, the 2003, I believe, 2004 season, we had started off kind of slow, and then we won like 13 straight games in the Big Ten to win to win the regular season. So we kind of went on a roll, and that was that year in the middle of the season where Coach Weber asked if I would play the 4 because he thought that it would be a better, it would be a mismatch for other teams because I was starting at the 3, and I think Luther Head was coming off the bench, and so he inserted Luther Head in the starting spot and put me to the 4, and then we just took off because it was just like, I mean, you couldn't guard us, but we can guard you because I was physical enough to guard bigger guys. And then we just went on a tear, man. And I think we knew coming back that following year we were going to be really good, And we worked hard that summer, and we were like, we I think we went to the Sweet 16 my junior year in 05. We lost in the Sweet 16 to Duke, and we were like, okay, this ain't happening again next year. So, we knew we were going to do something special. We didn't know it'd be what it was, but we knew we were going to do something special.
I mean, that was a special team, man, for y'all to get all the way to that game like that. I mean, y'all had the state buzzing. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
So y'all think y'all played against Chris Paul, Wake Forest that year?
Yeah, so we were number 3 in the country. We played them at the City Hall, and we ran them out the gym, and then we were number 1. Yeah, we were number 1 the rest of the year. Yeah.
Wait till I tell Chris that. I'm be like, oh, my boy Roger Powell spanked y'all ass, huh? You remember that?
He remember it. I'm sure you remember. Now listen, he's had a lot more. He's had a lot more games, and he had a lot more success to the game of basketball that, I'm sure it doesn't really matter to him as much. But
right.
To a Illini fan or someone that has Illinois pride.
Let me tell you something. I know Chris Paul hates losing way worse. So he gonna remember all losses, buddy. And especially from an Illinois guy, I'm like, yeah, my boy's got that booty. Let's go.
So you guys, man, y'all on the street. Y'all hit 29-0. What was the energy like? Like, what was the locker room like? I mean, how did y'all just not be like, you know what, man? The city is ours. The state is ours. Like, how did y'all maintain composure? Because, I mean, I remember that year. Yeah, I'm like, you walking around on campus. I mean, what was that vibe like?
It was amazing. I mean, we knew we were going to win every time we stepped on the court, first and foremost, because the work we put in. And then it was fun, man. Just everyone giving us love. And I mean, I think in the city of Chicago was Sears Tower at that time. That's what they called it. Had orange and blue. I mean, it was crazy, man. Bill Murray was coming to our locker room talking to us. It was special.
Wow.
Yep, Ghostbusters, Bill Murray, man. Like, come on, man. That was special,
It's special. You got Bill Murray to drive down 6 hours to Chicago to Champaign.
Yeah.
That was special. Absolutely.
Y'all got to be thinking in y'all head like, yo, can't nothing stop us, yo. Like, we finna get to the Final Four. We finna go to the championship game. Like, I know the whole Illinois campus had to be thinking like, y'all finna win this. Like, we finna be national champions, bro. They finna bring it back. I know people was talking like that.
They were, man. They were, and it was cool. And then that Arizona game when we were down in the game and we had to come back and win, like that right there solidified everything because like we had to make the Final Four that year. Yeah, we had to make the Final Four. If we wouldn't have made the Final Four, it would have been like the biggest like disappointment ever for us. It would have destroyed us. So when we came back and won, it was just like, okay, we there. Now let's go ahead and do it.
Like minutes left, right? Like,
yeah, it was like we were down like I think 14 with like 3 minutes to go or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Tied it up, went to overtime, and then won it in overtime. And that place went nuts because it was in the Rosemont Rising.
You had a big bucket in overtime.
Yeah, I had a dunk, man, that rolled in, man. It was
yeah.
It wasn't my most athletic dunk, but it mattered. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but no, there was so many plays made. Yeah, it was so many plays made.
I know after that game, y'all have to be thinking, I mean, even when y'all got to the championship game, like y'all had to be looking around like, I think 3 of us going to the NBA out of this. I think we're going to get picked up.
Oh yeah, we knew. We knew all 5 of us. We knew the whole starting lineup we was going to play in the league, man. And obviously some guys had longer careers than others, but we weren't thinking about that. We were thinking about winning this thing. That's what we were thinking about. Yeah.
Damn, that's a stacked North Carolina team, though, right, Will?
I gotta get a picture of us, man. This right here, man. I'm looking at that hoop dreams cover in the back, man. This right here is cool, man. I'm like, I'm trying not to be starstruck right now, man. This is crazy. Just because I'm just remembering all those images from the hoop dreams, man. Yeah, I can't believe I'm on this conversation with y'all right now, man. This is
Oh
nuts.
man, no, we glad you on here with us, man. I was hitting you up early. I was like, man, we got to get Roger Powell. And let me tell you why, Roger. I wanted you on this show so bad. I don't know if you remember the first time you and I met, but it was at Brooks High School, and you were recruiting my son. And man, you did one of the greatest things that I had ever seen. Because you came to me, you said, "Hey, Will, man, your son can play. That kid is good, but our coach is going to go with this other guy because, he said, if it's my choice, I'm picking your son." But y'all offered to Locke's son, who was the head coach at Brooks at the time. But the fact, man, that you came and was like, "Hey, Will, listen, just let little Will Jr. know, man, he is special." Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, man, I had always valued that. I said, this dude is real. I said, this ain't fake for him. This is real. Because you don't really see that in the college recruiting games where, hey, it didn't work out. So, man, I want to thank you for that, man, because I had never forgotten that. And I was like, this brother is an unsung hero, no doubt.
That's why they call him the Rev.
That's right, the Rev, absolutely. So listen to this, man. We want to continue, but we got something we call halftime. And this is, we're going to blow your mind. So our halftime show is this. You've been to a lot of cities all over, not just the United States, but the world. So give us your top 5 loudest stadiums you ever coached in or played in.
All right, number 1, Assembly Hall. Illinois, I gotta say that was number 1. Number 2, I'm gonna say, now this is not in any order. This is just the 5.
Okay.
Assembly Hall, Indiana. Indiana Assembly Hall was loud.
Okay.
That was loud. And then coaching wise, obviously you got to go to Kennel here at Gonzaga, Brocken, crazy environment. That would be number 4. So we got Assembly Hall in Illinois, Assembly Hall, Indiana. And then I said the Kennel, right? The Kennel, Gonzaga. And BYU, we played them not this past year, but 2 years ago. We were 20-something. We only lost 1 game. We played them last regular season game of the year. Man, that place was ridiculous, man. Oh my goodness. BYU was ridiculous. So, I mean, and obviously when you're coaching, because your players can't hear you when they screaming behind you. That place was in there. And then the last one's tough because I want to say Kentucky when I was coaching at Vanderbilt. But I would say Kentucky's kind of competing with Wisconsin because back then when we were, Alondo Tucker's at Wisconsin, I'm in Illinois. That was a huge rivalry back then. We played in Madison, the Badgers Stadium. It was extremely loud, and you didn't get no calls there neither. You didn't get no calls at all.
That's right.
So I would say back then it was Wisconsin and Kentucky kind of in that last spot. So that's how I would say the top 5 college venues.
Man, I hate to put you on the spot like this, Roger. Top 5 players to come out of Illinois University.
You really are putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Top 5 players all time. Okay, you got to go Darren Williams. You got to go D. Brown for what he meant to the university. And you got to Kendall Gill has to be in there. Nick Anderson has to be in there. Nick Anderson, Kendall Gill, D. Brown, Darren Williams. Man, that 5th one's tough. 5th one's tough, man. I mean, you got Douglas, you got Norman, you got Battle,
Yeah.
I mean, it's too many, man. That's tough.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, I think I was pretty good too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, I mean,
That's right. That's right. I thought you was gonna name yourself.
Keywan Garrett's gonna be mad.
Keywan Garris is like, I don't know if I can do it, man. I mean, I'm just gonna go. You know, man, it's tough. It's tough. There's too many guys.
Right.
I mean, because D Brown was good, but there was some other really good players, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Darren, Darren was top 3 pick. You know, you got to go him. Then Luther Head, like, what do you do about Luther Head?
Yeah.
James Augustine.
Yeah.
That's a tough question, man. I don't know if I can get a top 5. I can get you a top 20, maybe.
Top 20.
Top 5, man.
Man, I was like, he could have named the whole starting 5 from the from the first Final Four run.
There you go. There you go. I can do that. There you go.
Right.
Team right there, man. But then the flying line now, those guys are gonna have something to say, man. So, but
what a name, right?
Yeah, a lot of really good basketball, man, to be played. But I thank y'all for having me.
I'm the goat of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffer, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah.